welcome to this edition of Hebrew Nation News on YouTube. Every week, the world seems to be accelerating faster and deeper into end-time events. Listen in with Bonnie Harvey as she covers the news highlights of the week for a quick overview. Remember, we know not the day nor the hour, but we do know the season. Reporting to you live on YouTube is this week's news report, Countdown to the Second Coming.
Welcome everyone to another edition of Countdown. Today is September 11. We will be going over very briefly the internet, briefly the snub of Obama at the G20 that was held last week in Asia. And, is that a parable for our country? Next, we'll go briefly to the Arch of Baal. Then we'll get into Hillary's health. Then a hit on Putin. Was there a hit on Putin? And lastly, the vulnerability of the United States. So let's start with the internet. The internet is supposed to go over to international body, the ICANN. I can. People say it really means I can't. Their historical goal has been content censorship. This will be gone in 21 days unless Congress acts. And Congress has not been very feisty for the last few years. They have sat down and let Obama do what he wants to do. I had a guest on the morning show. He said Obama could not be having his free reign unless he had supernaturally put Congress, put a spirit of lethargy and a spirit of confusion, just a spirit of sit back and don't do anything over them. Countries like Russia, China, Iran are in ICANN. Will the internet control be ultimately handed over to the UN through ICANN for all Christians who are looking, that are watching the news? We can't watch lies. That's nothing to watch. So this is a matter of prayer, that we need the internet. It's the only source of truth. Yeah, I know there's a lot of junk on there, but also it's the only source of truth. And if this goes down, we have nothing to watch. Obama went to the G20 and he was snubbed. You can see the other leader here, Theresa May, and her husband walking down the red carpet. Typically, this is how they are greeted at the Chinese airport. Up on the top right, we see Obama walking out of the back door, the emergency door, the fire exit of Air Force One. No red carpet, little fanfare, just a deliberate communication to Obama. Putin was welcomed with full honors. Everybody else was welcomed with full honors. Also, Netanyahu has accepted Putin's invitation rather than Obama's for a discussion of the Palestinian question. Here on the lower right, we see Duarte, President Duarte of the Philippines, who actually called Obama the son of a whore for lecturing him on human rights. He is trying to eradicate the country from drug dealers, drug smugglers. And Obama canceled their meeting. But this shows a complete snub of Obama. And what does that show for the United States? Obama is, as long as he is the leader of the strongest country in the world, he has respect on the international scene. He has done everything possible, it seems, to destroy this country. And now he is feeling the effects of you are riding a dead horse. America is the fiat dollar, the jig is up. You're no longer the hub of where it is going to be, so you really don't matter anymore. Here we see a forced smile on Obama's face with his Chinese counterpart here. Here he's being lectured by Erdogan, and Erdogan is telling him exactly how it's going to be. And it was just after this G20 meeting that the United States announced that Russia would be taking over in Syria, together with Turkey, and the United States' support of ISIS appears to be out. Here he is again with Erdogan. Notice he's just listening, does not have a good look on his face. It's Erdogan of Turkey who is lecturing him. Is he realizing that what he has worked for 8 years, i.e., the destruction of America, is actually destroying his own image in the world, and he doesn't matter anymore? Very, very somber Obama. Here he is. Obama historically has been at the center of this hub. Here is the group photo, and we can see the delight with which Putin is taking in marching directly past him and going to speak with the lady on the left. Obama appears to be looking and totally engrossed elsewhere, but he has no one to talk with. Has he been rendered superfluous? The Arch of Baal goes up in New York City this on September 19. Oh, just a little over a week from today, 12 days from today. No, it's sorry, it's 9 days from today. Goodness, um, I can't even count here. This was already put up in London, and it was delayed in coming to this country. But now, now there are plans again. This is the exact design that connected the Temple of Baal in Syria with the main street. It was the worship of Baal, who was originally Marduk, who was originally Nimrod, and of course Nimrod was filled with the spirit of Satan. So all of this goes back to a basic satanic pagan religion. Will this be a portal in New York City for demonic spirits? Stephen Collins, who has researched where the northern tribes of Israel went after they were exiled by the Assyrians, and he said that this arch of Baal, celebrated Rome's conquest over the Parthians, and the Parthians were the northern tribes of Israel. This is Stephen Collins. He has written multiple books on this subject. There are other writers, Yair Davidi, Stephen Spikerman has also written extensively on this same topic. Where did those tribes go? And I wonder if this is the official setting up of Assyria's, once again, conquest over the northern tribes. He said that the United States, all three authors pretty much agree that the UK and United States are Ephraim and Manasseh. Doesn't matter if they are or aren't. The Christians are grafted into this same system, to the tribal system, to all of the oracles handed down to Israel. And we are a part of this by reason of being grafted in. And where do we sit? We sit largely in the Western countries. And is this a important symbolism representing Satan's defeat, control over this country? Remember, this country was dedicated in New York City. That is the place. If you want to do business with the United States, you go to New York City. The capital was later moved to D.C. That was not where this country was dedicated. Now we get to Hillary's health. This is her new van. Does it include a wheelchair? Is she traveling now via wheelchair? Here we see her in the showroom being shown this vehicle. Here's a ramp. You can get up a ramp if you want. We can put a lift on the back if you like. Here she's seen previously. She cannot get into a vehicle without the help of a step stool. Here she cannot get upstairs without the help of two men. And this man on the left that we see, this man right here, he is a frequent, we see him frequently. This is the same man who came up to her when she froze during a speech, and he said, just keep talking, it's all right. At some point, also, he appeared to give her an injection. We'll see more about that in a little bit. But here she cannot get up the stairs without the help of two men. Here we see them walking down the hall behind stage, and we see this same man here. Look what he's carrying in his hand. It appears to be diazepam. Diazepam is an anti-seizure medication. It's an auto-injector. You just screw off the top and jam it into your body, and it auto-injects you with anti-seizure medication. There is this very strange video. Some people say it's green alien balls. Some people say, what is this? Some people say it's two olives. Prior to this occasion, she was speaking normally, so there did not appear to be any major obstruction in her mouth. And then suddenly she grabs a glass of water and she just opens her mouth and she appears to emit these two green balls. Just take a look and see what you think. I don't know. Very, very strange. She didn't seem to be spitting. Her mouth wasn't in a spitting position. She just opened her mouth and these things just came out. I have no idea. Is there a microphone in her ear? Why would there be a microphone? Is she being fed answers? And sometimes she's speaking and she suddenly goes off on a completely different tangent, or she appears to slow down and then she gets she goes off on a new topic. Is she forgetting? Is she confused? Is she being fed what to say? There a 250 physician internet survey concluded that her health could be in serious condition, serious jeopardy, and this could be disqualifying. And one of the puzzling things is, why does she always cough? Response by the Hillary camp makes me cough just to look at her. The response by the Hillary camp is, "How dare you? Can you? This is so ridiculous. This is merely a fringe issue that has, quotes, bled into mainstream news. How dare you say this? The public doesn't care. The media should be beat up for questioning her health. And remember, some time ago, before her health became an issue, her husband Bill said that Hillary suffered a terrible concussion, quotes, requiring 6 months of very serious work to get over. So, does she have Parkinson's? Does she have a brain injury? What is the matter with her? A medical school professor who refuses to identify himself because of what has happened to other people said he thought she had a subcortical vascular dementia. And this, the life expectancy, if this is true, the life expectancy, he's evidently from the UK, it says 3 to 5 years, 4 being the average. She was diagnosed in 2013. Is that why we're seeing such a severe decline in her health right now? She's on the end of her life expectancy here. He offered that she has a severe form of subcortical vascular dementia, which involves the brainstem. Brainstem is responsible for autonomic care of the world. The brainstem is kind of like the hard disk, keeping your body going when you don't know it. It involves your blood pressure, your breathing, um, um, your could be involved in gross motor movements. She has to hold on to side rails. She can't stand for a very long time. She can't move upstairs. This could be a reason why she also goes into the head nodding and lip smacking. He said these are complex partial seizures. He has seen them before. Uh, and also could explain the dry coughing. Uh, and he also said that if there's any interruption to an already damaged brain stem, that she could go into coma and actually not recover. Auto injectors are used, diazepam, epinephrine to stop any life-threatening event. An auto injector is needed to control the seizure. That's just what we see. We see here an auto injector of just that stuff, diazepam. Is this to control seizures so her brain damage is not, especially to her brain stem, is not exacerbated? He said under stress, the uh, the the brainstem works even worse, and that is the cause for the coughing. This is an automatic response that she can't control. It has nothing to do with her throat, nothing to do with what she's eaten, nothing to do with stuck food, nothing to do with being allergic to Trump. It has everything to do that her autonomic system is not working properly. And is this why we're now seeing Hillary being followed by gurneys, being followed by an ambulance? Here we see an ambulance on her one of her latest speeches. Following the motorcade, we see the guys getting out. They come to her tent. This stretcher was located just behind her tent, where she was uh, stationing herself before she came out to speak. Here's an example of the head nodding. This is actually an involuntary response. We see this if we believe, if the doctor's words are accurate, this head nodding response is an uncontrollable response to the excited, shrill questions of the female um, uh, uh, reporters. And look at this one's face when she starts the head nodding, and this one's face. They know that something is wrong. Something is very wrong here. But we'll look at this. Oops. Let me see.
It was great. It was great. I mean, it was a wonderful, meaningful endorsement in every way, and I was very proud of
Right there. They're shouting at her, and it threw her into a partial seizure. She covered it up, saying, "You've got to have the chocolate chai." Here it is in slow-mo. She makes light of it. This is what they're trying to stop, are these partial seizures. I don't see her medical handler there. Was it after this that her medical handler was always at her side? Now we get on to, was it a hit on Putin? The Western elite sending a message. His official car with his favorite driver killed in a head-on collision. His official car is a big, heavy BMW, very safe car. So what what crashed into him? Was it a little Vauxhall? Was it a little a typical little Russian-built car? No, it was a big Mercedes. I I presented this to my Sabbath class, our little Sabbath get together yesterday, and a mechanic sitting in the room said those cars are equipped with undercarriage protection. They are undercarriage reinforced for head-on collisions. Was this car specifically chosen, this big Mercedes, in order to inflict maximum damage to the driver? And Putin, by the way, is outspokenly opposed to globalism. Here we see the car. We see the Mercedes approaching Putin's car. We see that the uh, Mercedes was driving in this, is that a central median lane? There are other videos that you can see it coming from afar, and it is always in this lane. Here it is, aiming almost for it. It was driving straight, no problems. And here comes Putin's car, and there's the collision, almost as if the car is aiming for the driver's seat. And again, Putin was not in the car. Putin was at the G20. Uh, but here it is once again. Here it crosses the center line and hits the driver's side. Here is Putin very, very upset over this. Here he is at the G20. No love lost here. And I bring this up because, I found a clip where this very thing is being discussed by top people in the government. In fact, there's a whole new company now called Beacon Strategies. And the head of that company, who was the previous head of the CIA, or the acting head of the CIA, is talking about just this thing. And here, Jeremiah 50:51 talks about the bringing down of Mystery Babylon. And here is one passage that describes the arrogance of Mystery Babylon and how that God himself will punish her for her arrogance, for what she has done to other people, because she has left the Lord. And here is this fellow, Beacon Global Strategies. His goal is to take out the support systems of our enemies so they, quote, no longer feel secure. He left the CIA, and his new job is antagonizing our enemies through Beacon Global Strategies. Let's listen to him. Hear the arrogance in his voice.
Give them the things that they need to both go after the Assad government, but also to have the Iranians and the Russians pay a little price, right? When we were in Iraq, the Iranians were giving weapons to the Shia militia who were killing American soldiers, right? The Iranians were making us pay a price. We need to make the Iranians pay a price in Syria. We need to make the Russians pay a price. The other thing we
make them pay the price by killing Russians,
yes,
and killing Iranians,
yes, covertly. So you don't tell the world about it, right? You don't stand up at the Pentagon and say we did this, right? But you make sure they know it in Moscow and Tehran. Here's the other thing I want to do. I want to go after those things that Assad sees as his personal power base, right? I want to scare Assad. So I want to go after his presidential guard. I want to bomb his offices in the middle of the night.
Well, that happened about 2 years ago, as you remember, when his brother-in-law was...
I want to destroy his presidential aircraft on the ground. I want to destroy his presidential helicopters. I want to make him think we're coming after him, right? I'm not advocating assassinating him. I'm not advocating that. I'm advocating going after what he thinks is his power base, right, and what he needs to survive. I want him to think about this is not going to end well for me, right? I want to put pressure on him. I want to put pressure on the Iranians. I want to put pressure on the Russians to come to that diplomatic settlement.
Okay, that's what I want to do. I want to make them feel insecure. I want to bomb their cars. I want to bomb their helicopters. I want to bomb their buildings to make them feel insecure. Is that what they did with Putin? What about that arrogance? What do you think about that? This is from an interview. The blank chip has a Trojan in it. This chip is American designed but Chinese made. It can be programmed to do a variety of tasks. It is used in nuclear power plants, power distribution, our electrical system, aerospace, aviation, public transport, automotive products. So this goes to our electricity, our power plants, our cars. It has a Trojan in it. Cambridge researcher said this chip has a back door, and the Chinese can hack all of the above with just a stroke of a key. This is this blank chip that can do almost anything, or can be programmed to do almost anything, is used widely in the United States. Just think of this, the wisdom of administrations who have sensitive materials foreign made. This is Paul Martin with Dave Hodges. The imminent threat. Paul Martin said the military is testing double and triple redundancy in their communications. Is it because they know their chips are compromised? Are they trying to compensate for this? Martin met, spelled wrong, met an IT guy, a military IT guy at a party. He was livid when they got alone. He told Paul Martin, our software is all Chinese and all of it has a back door. So he is reiterating what the other interview said. Martin said there would be a two-pronged threat, biologic weapon plus communications takedown. Again, are they plan to take down all shipments from the Far East, so we won't even get our Trojan chips. We won't even get our transformers that we don't make anymore, the transformers that we need for our electrical power structure. We don't make anymore. China makes them. And here we go to the last slide. And it shows, I think, an ambush situation. Once again, this is from Jeremiah 50:51. When it says Babylon, substitute in there the United States and see how it reads. Because this is talking about a nation that sits by many waters. She has been the hammer of the world. She was once belonged to Father, and now she has turned her back on Father. And they are attacked and they give up fighting. They remain in their own fortresses. This sounds almost like they were ambushed rather than they went out and attacked anyone. And they burn. Their gates are broken. The world heats up on a weekly basis. Thank you for joining me for this edition, and I shall see you next week. In the meantime, if you haven't found Christ Yeshua, please do that. Please open a Bible. Start maybe at John 1:1. If you can't read that, then ask for a book that you can read. What book can you read? When I first started reading, I couldn't read any of it except Revelation. And I couldn't pray anything except, I really need help right now. In Jesus' name, amen. That was my prayer. I didn't know what to say. If you don't know what to say, but you're struggling, start there. We shall see you next week. Blessings and hugs to each one.